challenge. I think that sounds good to me. Oh, my opponent is playing some really annoying opening here. Let's pin the knight. Oh, that's really annoying, actually. Super annoying. He definitely knows some weird theory here. Okay, I don't think I have much of a choice but to take. And I'm just going to exchange a bunch of things. I mean, he's got 2 sets of double pawns, but I don't think it's going to affect him particularly. I mean, he's got the open file for his rook. Why is he just trading everything? This seems odd. Gonna go after b3. I think this pawn might be a goner. I could defend it with rook b7. I could also take here. But I don't really want to let his rooks onto my 7th rank. So I think I'm just going to defend for now. And then try and coordinate my pieces. Let's go g6 just to keep the pawn safe. I'd love him to play h4, obviously. The h2 pawn was hanging, but I mean, he could have just gone for something like this. Okay. That's not a scary move, particularly. He's kind of weakening the d4 pawn. Which is obviously good for us. I'd want to play a move like bishop b8 to defend the pawn, but then I'm just blocking in my rook really, really badly. So maybe I'll go f6 to try and stop him from playing e5. I don't think he can particularly target this pawn, considering how blocked up the f-file is. So that shouldn't be a problem. Guys, if you are in the live right now, drop me a challenge on chess.com, bullet or blitz. Make it unrated, please. And we can get this stream off to what it's supposed to be. Okay. How do I actually break out of this position? Not sure. I'm tempted to go e5. I don't know if this is the best idea, but hopefully I might end up with a passed pawn down the center and try and play on the fact that he has 2 pawns on the queen side and I have 1. So I should have an overload in the middle with my extra c-pawn, because his c-pawn is obviously gone to the b-file. If I can transfer my c-pawn to the d-file, then let's say something like takes, then I'm going to have connected pawns, and the d-pawn will be a passer. I don't expect him to let me do that, of course. I don't expect him to take. Okay, it's a good move. I feel like I should be playing king e6. He doesn't have this because I control that square. Not sure. It's a tough position. Tough position. I might have to let go of the a7 pawn at some point to get this rook into the game. I am down a bit on time, but let's see what we can do here. My bishop's pinned, which is annoying. Okay. Let's defend the bishop, because I'm expecting this. Yeah. Let's take. He doesn't have this to apply more pressure. I am obviously giving him the a7 pawn. Yeah, let's do this. I think this makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I have no time, though, which is not good, because I don't really have time to think about what I want to do. Maybe drop the king back to e7, now that the d-pawn's no longer under attack. Maybe this rook belongs on b5 to protect the d-pawn so my king can drop back. Yeah, let's trade. I don't mind that. Let's come back. Now the bishop's not pinned. And white has a passed pawn. Oh, I could have just moved the bishop. So now my rook defends the pawn. Oh, damn. So low on time. Ah, man. I hate bullets so much. I'm so bad at it. We had a completely drawn position there, obviously. Like, he's got a passed B pawn, we have a passed D pawn. His structure's a bit worse than mine on the king side. That's kind of annoying. There was no need to lose that, but time in these situations is not something that I'm good at. It just isn't. So, okay, let's get into another one. Let's just treat this as like warm-up, because I don't really care about my bullet rating, I suppose. The blitz is something I care a lot more about. Get the old Vienna going. I want to say knight GE2. Let's drop the bishop back. Let's go... I don't know if I'm inviting pressure here. Let's offer him a trade. Do I want to do that? Or do I want to try and play d4? I feel like d4 is the option. I feel like I should be trying to break in the center. Because if we trade everything off and like my queen gets to d4, she'll be a pretty powerful piece. Let's say takes, 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 takes. I have a feeling he's not going to allow that. Because why allow my queen to... No, he does, okay. Surprising. Very surprising. And he goes for the sack. But can't I just take on a7? Because he has no actual threat, and this is mate. Here, here. Check. You can just go to e7. He's obviously threatening mate now. Which, I'm not going to lie, I didn't really consider. Which is a bit of a blind spot there. If g3 takes... Oh, but there's also like h4 breaking through. Which is very concerning. Very concerning. Not actually sure how I defend this. If only I could do this and my queen would be defending g2. Unfortunately, the e-pawn is in the way of that. I mean, I just have to go g3. I kind of blanked on this move for some reason. And I can't even defend that. Can't do anything about that, I don't think. Yeah. Well played to my opponent. That was a bit... Well, not a bit. Very poor from me. That was really poor. So, okay. Let's just go again. It's all warm-up. All a warm-up. Go knight c6. Let's just keep developing. I could go bishop g4, but I don't have to. I could put the bishop on d7 instead. Play a bit more of a passive Caro. Let's ask him the question. He goes for it, okay. Surprising. I'm expecting knight e5. No. Weird way of going about the opening from my opponent. Let's apply some pressure to the queen side. Put a knight on e4 now that he's no longer defending that square. And the question is whether I can make my bishop a viable piece or not, I suppose. Because right now it's not great, but maybe we can unlock it at some point. Let's go rook ac8. Just align with the queen. Okay, queen comes to f4. Does he have any threats? I don't think so. Don't think so. I'm just going to go rook c7. I mean, we're shoring up the defense of f7, so I can move the other rook, maybe. I suppose f6 exists. But he can just move his knight to a square like d3 to defend his queen. And that just looks good for him, because e6 will be weak. So I'm just going to go h6. Give my king an escape square. And just stop anything from coming to g5. Okay, queen back. Don't really know what that does. But I think b4 makes sense now. c4 might be a good move, although it does give him an isolated d-pawn. And also would open up my bishop, so maybe not the best idea. We have some good pressure on c3. I can bring my bishop to square like b5 or something to try and get it outside of my pawn chain. Yo, what is up, X-Man? Good to see you in the chat. I'm doing very well. I feel very relaxed today. I had a really good gym session this morning. And I just feel really chilled out. Really chilled out. How are you doing? Yeah, I think I should double the rooks. Just so my queen isn't, like, tasked with defending the rook and defending b4. And he pushes. Thank you, bro. Just drop me a challenge if you fancy a game. Okay, my knight's defended, so that's fine. Hey, good to have you along, man. I think bishop d5 makes a whole lot of sense. Attacking the rook, keeping an eye on the knight, which the queen can't capture, obviously. Maybe it was better to take with the queen to stop rook c1. Yeah, but I guess it doesn't carry a threat particularly. I could take. Here. Well, then f7 and a6. Well, a6 is defended, but f7 is weak. So I don't think I want to do that. We're low on time as well, just noticed. I think I'm just going to drop the knight back for now. Maybe a5 is a good idea in the future, just to support the b4 pawn. I see people getting into the chat. Drop me some challenges if you want to play. The link to my profile is below, or obviously you can just read my name on the screen. How do I actually push for anything here? I'm not sure. I might have to try and fight a bishop versus knight endgame where maybe we're better because of the way the pawns are split. Expecting this. I think I want to go queen to c8 to try and take control of the c-file before he can. We are defending f7, so that isn't a concern. And our bishop is just a good piece. Like, it's defended, it's blocking the movement of this pawn, it's attacking a somewhat weak pawn. Whoa. Okay, that's a commitment. You're just weakening your light squares further. Okay, bro. Where are you running to? Oh, I forgot that existed. I should not have traded queens there. I'm just on such low time. Need to defend this. Get the king in. Oh, I just blundered a fork. Oh my days. Bruv. That's so bad. That's so bad. Maybe I can try and win this. I guess it probably doesn't matter, though. Because his knight can just sack itself for the pawn. Oh, he's just going to create a passer. Yeah, I can just resign here. So silly. So silly. Okay. Sibai Shex, let's go. The first challenger of the day in a... I can't do this time control, but we're going to try. You can see the speed coming out now, or the lack of. Go queen c7. Let's double up. Let's go for this. It's got a pass d pawn, but we have a strong knight. We have a good blockade on the square as well. I'm going to try expand on the queen side. Okay, that's a good move. Let's go f5. Yeah, let's go for a trade. Knight versus bishop will be interesting. Yeah, let's expand on the queen side. Now he's taken his eyes off of it. Attack the bishop. And also attacking c4. Something like this, there. Maybe that's good for us. Might just be up a clean pawn. Go on. Trade queens, bro. Oh, I just fell for that. That was bad. That was a good idea from my opponent. Yeah, this game is lost. And I have no time anyway. Yeah. Oh, GG. I suck at bullets so much. Like, okay. If people are challenging me, you have to include increment. I am more than happy to play my man, but you have to include some increment there. Because I cannot play with 0 increment. I am horrific at it. So we had a no increment game. We see how that goes for me. So drop me a challenge, but just add any increment at all. Any. And I'm down. So yeah, that is what I am proposing. If not, then I can. What do you want to do? No, do blitz or bullet, my man. Do like blitz or bullet. As long as it's got increment, then that's cool. I would do rapid, but I want to give more people a chance to play. So just make it unrated, blitz or bullet with some increment, and yeah, I'm more than happy to play under those conditions. I'm feeling like Vladimir Kramnik right now, like laying out all my rules and guidelines. Or like Bobby Fischer, I suppose, would be a better comparison. Which, I mean, I would take that. I would take being compared to Bobby Fischer any day. Well, not all of Bobby Fischer, maybe. Maybe just like the chess aspect and none of the others. Strange bloke. Okay. Well, I'm going to do a bullet game while I'm waiting for people to drop me some challenges. GG's to my previous opponent, who I've forgotten the name of. But you are more than welcome to play again. You just need to include some increment, please. Okay, let's go for a Vienna. Okay. This is kind of an opening you don't really see that often in this. What's up, Wayne Jojo? Is that a reference to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? I sincerely hope so. Let's attack the bishop, because it's annoying. Better be a reference to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Okay, I think this is just quite a nice position here. It is. Love that. Bro, that is like my favorite anime. It is so cool. Just the absolute goat. Yeah, let's shift my queen over to the dark squares. Also, I suppose breaking the pin on this pawn. Because like moves like knight e4 were possible. I reckon, hot take, that part 6 was a lot better than a lot of people say it was. I mean, Jolene wasn't amazing as the main character, but other than that, it was pretty good. Pretty good. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but I feel like it's underrated. F7's hanging, but I don't want to give the d pawn. Let's go a4 to induce a5. Because if you don't go a5, I don't know what you're going to do. This means my bishop is really secure as well, because d5 and b5 can't be played to kick it out. So it defends d3 nicely, puts pressure on f7, puts pressure on the light squares. I can potentially shuffle into d5 if this knight moves. Okay, yeah, Kunst, just send me a challenge after this game. You might have already done it. And yeah, we'll play. For sure. Okay. Well, I'm not really scared of that. And my opponent's just allowing me to play a5, which seems very dubious. Because I'm just ripping open the queen side, which is obviously where his king is. Yeah, let's just drop back. There's no need to be fancy. Let's take. Let's just triple up. Let's triple up. Okay, people are sending in challenges. Good stuff. I will pick the first one that shows up after I finish this game. If you don't get to play the next game, then of course I will just play you afterwards, so do not worry. The earlier you get your challenges in, I assume the higher they'll appear on my feed anyway. So Bishop to a6 is a bit of a problem for black because he's going to get crisscrossed and he could be forced out to d7, which... and he just resigns. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. That's a rough position. Okay, do we have challenges? Because I can't see them. I'm going to refresh my page. Going to refresh my page, but you guys said you sent challenges. I don't see challenges. How do you send a challenge? How do you even do it? I think it's oh, okay, yeah. So you go to like create game on like when you go into live chat, just go to create game, and then on your opponent section, it tells you where you can just type in your opponent's name. So just type mine in, or there is a link below in the description of the stream, but I don't know if you can see that. So I'm not gonna say that. Okay, Kunst plays the Caro. I'm gonna play my very strange gambit. Hello, unknown. Good to see you. Hope you're having a good day. Yes, you can play me. You just need to drop me a challenge, and I will be playing like the next game against the person that appears highest, basically. So like the person that I've next who like next sends the challenge, I suppose. I've also just misplayed this opening. I've forgot the move order for a second, but it's not the end of the world. G6 is a bit inaccurate anyway, so I should be let off the hook. I'm supposed to go knight e2 to g3, but such is life. Such is life. This bishop on e6 isn't great anyway, so this is good. You can't see my username? Are you sure? Are you sure? I'm pretty sure it's on the stream. Okay, I want to keep the dark squared bishop on the board because it's an amazing piece. And I'm pretty sure my opponent has to do this. And his knight, I mean, I'm not going to take it because I want my bishop. Thank you, Simajit. Appreciate it. That's an interesting move. What if I take? Oh, okay. No worries, unknown. No worries. But yeah, it's the underscore chess underscore centurion. So you can just drop me a challenge on that. I'm expecting this. No, okay. Well, that's a relief. Let's do this. I mean, my bishop is defending from a distance. It's pretty cool. He can do this to attack me, obviously, but I just retreat. So that's not really a problem. This is a problem. Okay. Yeah, I'm not really concerned. I don't know if I should be, but I don't think so. Now let's drop back. Thank you, unknown. Very flattering. Can I just go c3? But I feel like that's unnecessary. I don't need to do that. Maybe d3. I do play on Lichess, but not as much as chess.com. Okay, I need to think a second here. It's a bit of a critical position, I feel like. How do I go about this? I I think I'm just going to go knight f3. I may be being stupid, but I don't think there's a big threat. I don't think so. So I'm pretty sure I'm safe to do this. It looks scary, of course, but I don't think there's a problem. Can I do this? Bishop back. Oh, wow, I nearly blundered massively. Wait, no, is it? No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's fine. What am I on about? I thought I was blundering mate, but no, that's all good. I was concerned about this, but my bishop defends that. Okay, let's do this to open this up and just defend. Because, yeah, I think he probably noticed that he could maybe take my bishop and then take my knight and mate me on c2. Although my queen probably would have ended up on e4 anyway, but yeah, trade's obviously in my favor now. Let's take with the d pawn to open my rook up, which means my bishop can just sit here and be a very good defensive piece. This looks good. Pinning the pawn to the king, attacking the knight. The knight's obviously defended currently. The d-file is still open to try and facilitate trades. So that's all very positive. We're up currently, what, like a rook and a piece? Yeah, a rook and a bishop. So we just need to convert this. Yeah, let's give the check. I could have done this as well, but I don't think it really matters. And then this should be fairly easy cleanup. I'm not taking the knight because I can take the pawn first with check, so there's no rush. Now take the knight. I guess I could have done it in either order, but it doesn't really matter. This is my next move, and that should be game over. Yeah, I can still play it, actually, even though the queen is defending that square. It actually doesn't matter, because the knight is controlling b8, and if queen c6, then rook d8. I assume my opponent can hear me, but it doesn't really matter, I suppose, at this point. Sorry, what are you saying what to, unknown? By the way, if anyone has questions at any point, then just feel free to ask in the comments. Well, in the chat, I suppose. Or if I upload this as a video after, then just ask in the comments. I am more than happy to answer anything. Okay, yeah. Opponent resigns. GG Kuntz. That was quite an interesting game. We played a very weird Caro-Kann opening that just wasn't... I didn't execute it properly, but it didn't end up mattering too much, fortunately. I mean, yeah, he might be stream sniping, but it doesn't really matter. Like, I'm not saying anything that will give too much away, like on purpose, because I don't really want my chat delay to be too long, because then I can't really reply to chats that quickly then, because there'll be a big delay. Okay, well, I appreciate you pausing it, Kunst. I guess you can watch it back if you want to see the see what I said. But yeah, thank you for the game. Appreciate it. Can you see my challenge? I can't, mate. I can't see it. You might have to send it again. I'm trying to look for it now. But I don't think I can see it. Okay, yeah, there it is. There it is. I assume you sent it again. Okay. Now we're going to go for the beloved A3 Sicilian. But bro doesn't want to accept the gambit, so boo. Sad, sad man. And this is just kind of like a Grand Prix. Kind of like a Grand Prix. Just take some central space. Okay, b6. I think, yeah, that's a typical way. Just going to play this a bit quickly in the opening. Go e5. Now I've got to remember what I'm supposed to do. Pretty sure this is the plan. Again, I'm staying more vague than I normally do in my videos because I am aware that people are obviously watching and my opponent may be watching live. I hope not, but they might be. That's not an accusation, by the way, Nikos. I think taking with the f pawn makes the most sense. I think that makes the most sense. Also, isn't Nikos the guy in the guy in the In-Betweeners when Will's talking to that girl and she's saying how she's got a Greek boyfriend and they're like joking about him being called Nikos. I swear that's one of the scenes. So maybe my man is the Nikos. Obviously, probably not, but if anyone else knows that scene, it's great. Yeah, like I was saying, e6 was the concern there after f6 had been played, meaning that e6 wasn't defended. So this is pretty dire. My opponent actually just gives me his queen, so yeah, unfortunate there, bro. I guess the game isn't over yet, but certainly not looking great. Now I'm just trying to trade a lot of pieces because I'm obviously up a lot of material, so I'm just trying to get pieces off the board. Oh, bro, nearly tricked me. Nearly tricked me. Good idea to try and go for the back rank. Good idea. I thought he was going to play rook to d7, and I would have happily given him my queen to trade more pieces. Because I'm just up a whole queen, so if in this position rook d7 had been played, I would have taken, after takes, I'd still be up a rook and a bishop. So I wouldn't really care if I lost my queen in that position. Because it's kind of irrelevant. It would have been pretty irrelevant. Okay. So I don't think there's anything I need to be worried about here. I mean, I'd like to get more pieces off the board, but there's no rush. No rush to do so. My opponent seems to be waiting this out. Okay. You know what I'm going to do? I'm actually just going to go queen f3. So, because I'm just forcing a trade. Max me 4. Good to see you, man. To play me, literally just, you can see my username in the stream. All you need to do is go to your live chess area on chess.com, go to new game and create challenge, and then it will ask for a username, and just type in my username, the_chess_centurion, and then we can play. That's all you need to do. And just make the challenge any kind of blitz or bullet format, as long as it has increment and is unrated. And then that's perfect. So I hope that's nice and obvious. Let's just try and promote. I'm kind of just trapping his king in a box here, so it can't escape, and I can deliver an easy checkmate. But because he's got so many pawns, he's not going to get stalemated, so that's not a concern, fortunately. Nikos has sent me a rematch. No one else has challenged me, so I will be playing with Nikos again. And if you want to play, just drop me a challenge. Okay, we have a Slav. He's going to go for like some Catalan thing, I think. And I'm going to try and make this as boring for him as possible. I sent you a challenge. Okay, I'll check after this game if that's alright, mate. I guess... Yeah, there is a bit of a delay in it, so I didn't actually see that in time. Let's drop back. I want to try and stop the e4 break. I could consider taking on c4 at some point. I don't have to, though. I'm going to go queen c8. I feel like that's the best way for me to go about this. Could consider something like that, but I should probably get some more pieces out. Again, I'm trying to stop the e4 move. I'm going to try and induce c5 to go knight to c4, potentially. And then I might have to switch my focus to playing e5 if that happens. But I'll have a very nice knight, which might be somewhat difficult to kick out. Okay, let's take. Let's trade. Knight d5, offer some more trades. Interesting. Let's take the bishop. Maybe that wasn't the best idea. Well, no, because if this, then this. And I'm fine. I think. It's a very interesting line. I think I'm okay, though. See what he does. Okay, so we're equal material. Bishop versus knight. Got a bit of pressure. Yeah, I think my opponent just missed that. Which is obviously good for me. So I'm going to win another couple pawns. Which is going to make this a lot easier for me to try and win. For those of you in chat, welcome to the stream. I'm literally just playing blitz and bullet games against viewers. If you want to send me a challenge, my username is on the screen. Make sure that it's unrated, blitz or bullet format, and with some kind of increment. Those are the only rules. As long as you stick by those, then just challenge me with whatever you want. I guess they're kind of solid rules, like there's a fair few, but those are the rules. So yeah. There's no threat here. So I think I can just gobble another pawn up. Oh, okay, no, he's covering this. That would have been pretty silly to get mated like that. Should I just give myself this square? I think so. I think so. Nice idea from my opponent to try and put me in a box, though. It's basically creating a back rank mate situation by the knight stopping me from getting out here. It's a good idea. Is increment necessary? Yes, please, my guy. I cannot play without increment. I am just horrific at it. Like, it's pretty poor. My time management is not there. Not there. Okay, so he wins the b-pawn. I'm going to go rook f8, just because I feel like it looks a little bit safer for me. I always have the h7 square, which is difficult for his knight to control, if not kind of impossible, because he needs to get to one of these squares, which looks pretty difficult. Looks pretty difficult. 5-5 does work for me. Yeah, that is fine. I guess it's the most rapid like blitz format that you can get. So yeah, it looks like that will probably suit both of us. I don't know. Rook f2 looks good. Does. It's a good idea. Rook f2, rook e8, king h7. Okay, it looks scary, but it's probably fine. Probably fine. Whoa, RK video. He wants to play with me. I hope that's not a threat. That sounds like a threat, my man. Or a date. Yeah, G7 is defended though, so that's okay. But his king is very weak. Like, really weak. And he could get himself into a lot of trouble here. Because he's running out of squares. Running out of squares very quickly. Let's give a check. I wasn't sure which rook to do it with, but I don't think it matters all that much, to be honest. And this is just a bit of a concern for white. Now I think I give this check. And now I force exchanges, which benefit me. So I think this was his only way to avoid losing material. But then... okay, I suppose... Well, that's completely winning. What am I on about? What am I on about? I'm up 3 pawns. I thought I was only up 2. But I forgot that I won the H-pawn as well. Just blanked in my mind. Okay, yeah, let's just get the king involved. I mean, both his pieces are kind of tight down here. Yeah, but now this pawn starts running. And we're creating a bit of a wall against his king from getting in. Let's push. So, like, our king's obviously tying this knight down. Now we want to see this, because we're just going to win the knight. And this is obviously completely winning. We are up way too much material. Now what we're going to do is just let him shuffle on the back rank. And then push the pawn. Yeah, I'm just trying to keep him on the back rank, basically. Although I suppose he escapes the back rank now, but whatever. Doesn't matter. Give a check. And I'm just going to escort the other pawn, making very sure not to stalemate. He has the h8 and h7 squares, so you obviously just have to check. Well, that's also a check, but... yeah, okay. Boom. Alright. Good games, Nikos. Appreciate you dropping me those challenges. For some reason, I'm not oh, okay. Now I'm seeing the challenges. Whoa, there's a few of you. I don't know who the first one was, but I think it would be the first one that shows up on my feed. So, 8anch128. It's a 1 minute plus 4 second game. That is the strangest bullet format I've ever seen. That is so weird. Okay, let's see what it plays like. Oh, I think bro mouse slipped. I think he mouse slipped. Which might make his game a bit more difficult here. Let's just develop normally. Yeah, bro, drop me a challenge, and when it's your turn in the queue, I will happily play you. That's, oh, I just took with the king. Why did I do that? Let's pretend that this was intentional. Let's pretend. You know what? I might just castle by hand to the queen side. That's so dumb. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. Let's run away. Let's run away. I mean, he's castling by hand as well. So, okay, let's push. I'm expecting him to go g4 if I play h4, so I don't really want to allow him to do that. So I'm going to play g5. If I go g4, we can go h4, I suppose. Queen c7. I think this is just a good square for the queen. Just, yeah. I want to do this, but then the knight hangs, so I can't do it yet. If I go here, doesn't really work. That's annoying. Could do this, which looks a little bit flimsy. I know I'm lined up with the bishop, but I don't think it's the end of the world. Yeah, let's take with a knight. This is defended by the queen, so that's good. Now let's do this to defend the g5 pawn. It's an interesting position with the opposite side castling. I think my king is definitely safer, but it's also not clear how I'm going to break through. But I think I have to do this now. Given the opportunity. I wanted to say it, but I didn't say it because I didn't think my opponent would notice. Yeah, he can't do that. He had to move his king because now he loses the rook. That was the important aspect of that. Which obviously I had to see before I played it. Because if he moved his king instead, then I would win the h3 pawn and I would get 3 pawns for a bishop, which I thought was probably worth it. Now it's, of course, just game over because queen g2 gave me a rook, but that's just chess. That's just chess. I don't really care about this pawn, I suppose. There's no point taking too long to try and defend it. Get my king into the game. And now probably invest in the e-pawn. Offer a trade. Check. I want to make life difficult for my opponent here. Yeah, let's go f5. The problem is he needs to try and keep an eye on this bishop. And now I think we just win forcefully. Nice little geometric sequence, I suppose. It's like a series of forced moves where we just forcefully win the bishop. Nothing he could really do about that. Stop this. Just because that would be annoying. And yeah, this should be a relatively easy conversion from here. Let's just get my rook out of the way. Now I think I just push. Now my king is nice and safe. If he tries to go for my pawns, I probably just move my king. So my rook is doing the work. Put it on e5, so I'm shielded from checks. Push. Let's go c5 just to block his king off from getting back in. And now we're going to play this nice little move, rook b2. Yeah, okay, he sees it. I'm going to go back. I guess that was just like a test to see if he would notice. Give a check. And now we're going to go back to b2 with the same intention, where he can't defend this b-pawn. If he takes with a rook, then we trade rooks. And if he takes with a king, then we just take. Or he does this, and then we can defend the pawn like this. Another check. Discovered check. Pawn is defended, so king can't take. And probably just defend the pawn. Now we give a check. If my game doesn't freeze. There we go. My game is just freezing like mad. I don't know if this is showing on your guys' screen. But now we're going to promote with double check, which means he can't take my queen with his rook anyway. Because my rook on b2 is also checking. I'll refresh my page after this game, which should fix the stuttering. And then this should be a very easy cleanup from here. So GG to my opponent. Interesting game. But yeah, I mean, the whole bishop to g3 idea I was pretty happy with. It's not necessarily completely crushing, but it's just very difficult to try and actually deal with from, oh my god, from my opponent's side. Oh, it is my move, okay. I didn't get the noise for some reason. But yeah, this is just ladder mate. I could, of course, take the rook, but there's no need. I can just do this. And yeah, GG, bro. I will now just refresh my page quickly and see what the next challenge is. Let me see. I think it's Cast the Menace. Oh no, those are friends requests. Sorry. In challenges, I think it's also Cast the Menace. They are appearing highest. So, okay, let's go. This is, I think, 5+0. I said include increment, so that's very cheeky of you. But okay, we'll let it slide. DK editing, I have no idea what language that is, mate. I only speak English and a little bit of French. Only a little bit. Un peu de français. He's also made it rated, so this is a very cheeky game sent by Cass. But hopefully we can take an elo point off of them and make it worth our while. Yeah, RK Video. More than happy to play you, but you just need to drop me a challenge, and if you're the first one in the queue, then I'll play you, mate. Okay, bishop h5. Just keep the pin. It's just annoying for white to deal with. Let's go bishop d6. Let's go a6 to stop the knight from coming in, because that would be annoying. Castle. a3 doesn't have quite the same effect as a6, because I wasn't trying to do this anyway. Let's go rook c8, get on the open file. And then knight b4 is a nice tactic to pick up the undefended knight. This doesn't work because of this. So, of course, that's something you have to check before you play this tactic. But yeah, we just go up a pawn. Nice and easy. And how is he going to respond to this? So the problem as well for my opponent is that b4 is very weak. How long have I been playing? I've been playing chess. I mean, I learned chess when I was pretty young. Like, I don't know, maybe 4 years old or something. But I was just playing against like my dad. And then I started trying a bit harder at chess in like scout competitions when I was, I don't know, maybe 10, 11. And then I played my first tournament when I was about 14, 15 in London. I'm not close to London, despite what Americans may think, which was very good. And I came joint third, I believe, in that. And then I've kind of just been playing off and on since then. And then when I joined university, I think this is nice. I started playing a lot more because I joined a chess club. Because when I'm at university, I'm in an actual city, so they have an actual chess like league there, which meant that I could, you know, play against good opponents, basically, which was really fun. It still is really fun, but it's very difficult. And I'm moving into the top division this coming season. I think there's actually a game tonight for my team, but I can't make it because I'm not at university yet. I'm moving in a couple of weeks for my final year of my course. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun. But it's going to be very difficult because every single game is going to be like 2,000 plus. I have beaten, I think the highest was like 2,200 in an over-the-board classical game, which was actually in a Vienna game. So for all the people hating on my Vienna, that is, you know, maybe misguided judgment. My ears feel really weird. I don't know why. Okay, let's just go a5. I mean, the bishop is defended very, very well. Didn't play any offline tournaments yet, but I always wanted to play that. I would highly recommend giving it a go. There is absolutely nothing to lose. And you may be pleasantly surprised at how you can actually play in those long time controls. There's also the aspect of the fact that you are literally sitting across from the person that you're playing. It makes it a very different game in my eyes. Because, like, I go to the gym, for example, like, a lot. So whether, you know, the fact that I'm just kind of big makes a difference over the board, maybe that's intimidating, I don't know. But I feel like it probably plays some kind of role. I'd be surprised if it was just completely irrelevant. How do I want to do this? Opponent's asking some very difficult to answer questions. Okay, I think rook c4 makes the most sense. I don't mind if I lose this pawn. Here I have this. So I am up 2 pawns. Okay, yeah. Now I'm just going to give my king an escape square, and we're going to try to play with this extra pawn. I think that's the best course of action. Because everything in this position is basically the same, bar my extra pawn. So I'm going to have to try and make something of that. I feel like back in which position? This position, I probably should have taken with the pawn rather than the rook. But hey ho, hey ho. It's not a big deal. Okay. What do I do? What do I do? Let's go king g7. I'm not really sure how to tackle this position, but we're just going to try our best. The issue is that it's hard to keep an eye on this pawn and actually make progress elsewhere on the board. That's my concern. Okay. My opponent's doing a good job of holding this. Let's go h5. Just take a bit of space. Just take a bit of space. Let's go h4. Okay. I think we like to see that. I think that's what we want to see. Move my king. I'm not sure I should be, but I don't see any downside right now. Besides, we need to try and push for something here. This could be a very interesting game. There's no chess club. Yeah, there was no chess club back where I live at home because I live in the middle of nowhere. But that's why online chess is so great. But there probably will be chess tournaments near you, though, like occasionally. I don't know what country you're from, obviously, but worth checking that. Okay, that's interesting. I'm going to drop back. I expect him to repeat, though. I don't know if that's the best way for him to do this. I'm going to go to b8. I'm going to try and patrol this back rank, except draw. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I can grind this out for years, mate. And sadly for you, you have 30 seconds on your clock. So that's something that I have at the front of my mind. How do I make progress? How is rook c7 good? Let me think a second. I'm gonna go queen b5. I have a bit of an idea. Okay, I think this is a good setup. I want to do that. I think so. Okay, now we've secured the queen trade, which I think is beneficial for us. Let's go f5. Ooh, okay, this is very good now. This is very good. This should be completely winning. Yeah, okay, perfect. And now I think this is what we need. I think... Have I misplayed this? No. That's good. Okay, some nice little tactics at the end there, but this should be game over because the king is way too far away. And then we just pick up the pawn. After it queens, I suppose. GG's to my opponent. That was a tough endgame. That was a really tough endgame to convert. Yeah. I'm happy with that. Very happy. We have 8 Anch of another challenge, so we have 5 minutes plus 2 seconds. Goes for a scan D. Oh, retreats the queen and doesn't get the bishop out. Very interesting. Bit of a strange way of going about this. H3 was probably unnecessary. I'm just used to the bishop going there. Oh, that was poor. There was no need for that from me, but okay, it's all good. It's all good. I think we're just slightly better. Very odd. Okay. Let's just get my bishop on a nice diagonal. Michael Swigger, bro, if you want to play, just drop me a challenge. There is no shame in losing at all. Like, whatsoever. I lost earlier on the stream anyway, so... Let's just go rook e1. Let's just go rook e1. I think this is a good move. How do I do this? Let me think a second. And she's asking some questions. Okay. I don't think I have much of a choice, to be honest. I think I have to take. I'm going to expand with b4. It looks a little bit overkill, or a little bit of an overextension, but we'll see. Okay, let's attack the queen. And now let's keep on expanding. I want to try and squeeze my opponent. c3 is definitely weak, but shouldn't be the end of the world. Let's kick the knight. Move our knight in. Now we're trying to take over the game and apply a lot of pressure. So my expansion of pawns has meant that I've forced my opponent's pieces back so that I can bring my pieces forward, which looks pretty good to me. Looks pretty good. Let's see what you can do about this. because his light squared bishop is also just locked in behind his pawns, so he can't really do a whole lot with that. His knight doesn't really have obvious squares to go to, because, I mean, g6 is taken, f5 looks dangerous, obviously c6 and d5 he can't go to. If the f-pawn moves, he's just going to create more holes in his position. Maybe b6, bishop b7 makes sense, but it doesn't really address the issues, I suppose. Okay, a6 is a valid move. Makes sense. Let me think about this. Yeah, I'm going to go rook e3. Because I want to get more pieces in the attack. Let's take. I can see my things buffering. I'm not sure what's happening there. I don't know if that's just on my end or not. Hope so. Hope this isn't buffering for you guys. Oh, I just hung a pawn. Bro, come on. Come on. He wasn't stream sniping, by the way, because there's a delay, and there's no way he would have heard me say that in time. But yeah, I knew that the pawn was under attack, so that's part of the reason I went rook e3. Not only because I wanted to involve my rook in the attack, but we defend the pawn by via tactics. So that's a nice little thing to be aware of in your own games. I mean, it's a very common thing, whether there's tactics down the d file with the bishop moving with check, or on the third rank. Very common. And very effective. Very effective. Let's give it a check. If king h8, then I can force trades. Okay, he goes for this. Let's go knight g4. Just try and keep the knight in somewhat of an attacking position. Great to see quite a few of you in the stream. Good to have you on. If you are new to the channel and you're enjoying the content, make sure you like the stream and drop a subscribe so you get notified when I drop new videos, but also when I do new streams in the future. I'd really appreciate it. Okay, that's not a problem. We just drop back, maintain the pin. We're going to force more trades. That is the goal here. And also, I guess we'll ruin his pawn structure as well. So that's also a massive benefit. Oh, we can actually just play g4. Yeah, because he's not addressing the pin. So not only are we... well, we're not actually trading pieces. We're just winning more pieces. Which, I mean, I'll take any day of the week. Let's take... how to move past the 1200 elo barrier. I mean, it's been a while since I've gotten past that point, I suppose. I don't know if it's like an obvious barrier that people have to get past. I'm kind of unaware if that is. But I don't know. I mean, with 1200 elo, I would say you don't really have to do anything special. You just have to not do the obviously bad things. So if you can kind of just exist and just not make really bad moves, then I feel like you'll do well. I don't know if that's making sense, but just don't make silly mistakes and capitalize on your opponent's silly mistakes, rather than feeling like you have to push for really intricate attacks or whatever. I don't think you do. I think you just have to avoid doing the silly things, and your opponents will kind of just self-implode. I may be wrong there. I mean, I feel like maybe that's giving 1200s and not enough credit. But based on the speedruns that I've done on my channel, which you can check out if you want to after the stream is over, generally around that rating range, I kind of just make normal moves and my opponents just mess up. So obviously that is also asking the question of do what is a normal move? Because that maybe isn't obvious. but I feel like that is one of the better pieces of advice I could try and give you for that. So yeah, let me know, those of you in the chat that might agree or disagree with that. But yeah, do we have more challenges? Let's see. Psychiatrist, any advice for a 600 elo player? Just don't hang your pieces, I guess. Similar to the advice for the 1200s, but maybe a bit like, I don't know, maybe a bit more lower level. Well, obviously, but I don't like to say just don't hang your pieces because it's not obvious, but just make your pieces active, right? Just get your pieces into the game and just put them on like normal squares. So you'll see what I do in this game, right? My opponent's 700 rated. By the way, thank you for the challenge. So he's got like a normal setup going here, right? Now, when I'm playing this, I'm not like, okay, this is the exact setup that I want to make. I'm just making normal moves. And look, my opponent plays e5, which just gives me a pawn, right? He's just handing me a pawn. And I didn't do anything to get that pawn. I just put my pieces on normal squares. And then he just gave me a pawn. Now, that's not a dig at you, Sir Swiggy. That's not a dig whatsoever. He said fear in the chat. But my point is, I didn't have to do anything special for that. My pieces just existed on semi-decent squares, and I was rewarded for not doing anything silly. So I hope that that's maybe actually a good showcase of what I mean when I say just don't hang your pieces, right? So, yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Hopefully it does anyway. Okay. Let's take it. I'm not really familiar with these positions, but it should be fine. Should be fine. Yeah, see, there again, like, I didn't do anything special. My opponent just gave me a piece, or a pawn. Which I suppose you have to be able to see. Like, you have to be able to see when pieces are hanging. But my piece was just on its home square. I did absolutely nothing to deserve that pawn. I just existed. I hope that Sis Wiggy isn't just doing this to make my point for me. I doubt it. But yeah, I think that's quite illustrative, I think, of what I'm trying to say. Okay, let's push. I don't really want to open up his rook or my queen. And my queen is defending the d5 pawn. Okay, so Sizwiggy just said in the game chat, no, he's just bad. I don't think you're bad, mate. I think you're just 700 rated, you know? Like, a lot of the moves you're making make a whole lot of sense. But some of them are just like, you know, don't give me a pawn, I guess. Why you didn't make a tournament, says Motivational Edits. That's a fair point. I might make a tournament at some point for viewers. I have mentioned it in the past. Unknown. Okay, bro, you got a sub from me, but I've got to go for now. Good to play with you. Good to play with you too, man. Thank you for joining the stream, and I would encourage you to check out the videos on my channel if you enjoyed this, because I have a lot of them. Okay, now we can get back to developing. We're up 2 pawns, and my 2 pawns are incredibly strong. Connected passes. I'm going to make a connect 5, probably. Okay, my opponent gives me another pawn, which is great. Those of you just joining the stream, if you're enjoying the content, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. It will really help with the YouTube algorithm, which has been absolutely hating me recently for some reason. But yeah, good to have you lot here. Okay, now we're just sweeping up. We're up 4 pawns, I think. Yeah, 4 pawns. Let's give another check. And after king c7, we'll give another check. Probably. Yep. It's very difficult for my opponent to defend himself now, because his king's just running out of squares, and my pawns are restricting him a lot. yeah, let's take with the pawn. And then take here. And it's very hard to defend this knight. The knight is pinned, of course. Do have to watch out for this, because I don't want to give away my queen. How do you choose which is the best move, even though the position is really dry? So I am assuming you mean in general, when you have dry positions. I think a lot of the time it's just looking at your pieces and being like, which of my pieces is bad, and what square would I like them to be on, which would make them better. For me, that's a big one for helping just improve my position generally. Another way would be to look at your opponent's pieces and do the same thing but in reverse and be like, which of my opponent's pieces are good and how can I start to restrict them? So if your opponent has like a really nice knight deep in your position or something, be like, oh, how can I kick this knight out of my position to therefore make my opponent's position worse? Which obviously by proxy makes your position better. So that's another thing I would definitely advise doing. And that's something that I really like to do because that's just my play style personally. I like to be quite restrictive and like restrict my opponents. Those are the two main things I'd say, Black Clover. I hope that was useful. If there's anything like not quite clear with what I was saying there, then just let me know. Yeah, good game to... Oh my god, I just forgot your name. I'm so sorry. No, Sir Swiggy. Good game, mate. I think you just got yourself into a bit of trouble there with e5 a bit too early. I did used to play the King's Indian defense myself, which the position you played was a type of King's Indian, of course. But you do just have to be very careful with when you make your e5 break. I would encourage you to probably look for c5 breaks a bit more, because that's something that at lower levels people tend not to see quite as much. Playing c5 rather than e5, but that's definitely something to look for. Okay, yeah, good to hear that was helpful for you, Black Clover. Thank you for dropping into the comments. By the way, I have no one currently sending me a challenge, so I'm going to go to the loo real quick. That's what we Brits call the toilet. And when I come back, I hope to see a few challenges for me, and then we can get another couple of games going. So, see you lot in a minute. Okay, I'm back, everyone. Where are the challenges? Where are they at? Because I'm not seeing any. And that is poor form from you lot. Please share your ID. You can see my username at the bottom of the screen. It's the_chess_centurion. So just go to your live chess, click, I think it's custom, and then create game. And you can just go to where you can type in an opponent, just type in my name, and then you can drop me a challenge. Just make it blitz or bullet with some kind of increment, and that'll be ideal. And unrated, please, as well. That would be appreciated. But yeah, I'm not going to stay too much longer on the stream, because I do have stuff to do. So yeah, make sure you guys send me a couple more challenges before I have to go, because I've got a lot of other stuff going on, which do require my attention. So if no one drops me a challenge, I will just have to leave the stream, unfortunately, because, like I said, I do have stuff I need to be getting on with. So please, somebody, drop me a challenge, and we can play. I don't know if there's a better way for me to make it so that people can challenge me, but I can figure that out in the future. Mishael Dowder, how do you improve your game strategy? That's a very broad question. Is there any way you can make that a little bit more specific? Because there's so many different things like that would encompass the term game strategy. Like, way too many. Okay. Rajnish930, I don't know if I've pronounced that right, has challenged me. 10 minutes plus 0, which, I mean, isn't quite blitz or bullet and does have no increment, but at least it's unrated. So, you know, we'll go with it. We'll go with it. Alright, those of you who are enjoying the stream and have not yet dropped a like and subscribe, what are you doing, bros? Get on that and get my videos recommended to you more often. I hope that they're educational and informative. Wait, no, they're the same thing. I meant educational and entertaining. My bad. Can't find it. Ashugawa, I'm not too sure where you're looking. There is a description on this stream, actually. So if you go to the description, there is, I did paste a link there to my profile, where if you copy that over, then you can send me a challenge via my profile, I believe. So that is also something that you can probably do to play me. Okay. It's not really a scary move, but it's just in my territory, I suppose. How do I want to deal with this? Let's just develop. How to be good at positional chess. Positional chess is a bit more difficult, I think, because a lot of it is just recognizing patterns and like geometric patterns a lot of the time, I feel like. But it also, let me just think a second. But with positional chess, I think one of the main things would be space and mobility, I'd probably say. So what I mean by that space is if we look at this game right now positionally, look at my space. I am controlling with my pawns and my bishops a lot of territory in my opponent's position. A5 continues to take up space. Therefore, my opponent's maneuverability is quite low. He can't really move that well. A move like A4 attempts to improve his maneuverability by fighting for the A4 square to maybe get his pieces involved. Now I'm going to play B4 so that he doesn't have the A4 square to maneuver to. But that does mean that he can use the light squares a little bit better, although my bishop is also cutting those off. Then if you look at my position, my opponent's pawns are the lifeblood of chess, so we're more concerned about pawns than anything else. But I have a lot of space that I can work with. I can put my pieces on lots of different squares, and my opponent doesn't quite have that luxury. So I would say that's one of the big differences in this position, and probably a good way in which you can try and evaluate positions from a positional point of view. I hope that makes sense. Let me know if any of that wasn't clear. Obviously, that's not the only part of positional chess, but whoa, Ajikobi Mobolaji. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but he thinks it was a good explanation, so I appreciate you, bro. And it is good to have you here. My opponent is trying to make use of the fact that he has a semi-open c-file, which is definitely a good strategy here, because again, he doesn't have a whole lot of space. So he's making use of the space that he does have to try and put some pressure on my position. I hope some of these explanations can help some of you guys to improve your chess. But if not, again, if you need anything clarifying, just say so. Just say so in the chat, and I will happily respond. To the best of my ability, of course, because I am no genius. I tend to get good positions like that, but then I have a hard time maintaining it. At some point, my position crumbles. Totally understand that. I I think what you have to do is when you have a good position, like, you need to keep advancing. You can't just have a good position and sit on it. Because take this position that I've got right now. It's pretty nice. It's a nice position. But I need to continue moving forward and posing more problems, which is why moves like b3, for example, look very tempting to me, because I'm continuing to squeeze my opponent's space, because he's active on the c-file. I don't want him to be active. I'm going to try and push him back. Maybe I can then get my knight into the game, which actually looks like a really good move. And then just use the pawns to support my pieces moving forwards. You can't always do that, but it's a good pattern to look for. I'm going to take with the bishop, because I want to go c5. I don't really want to lose this bishop, but I don't think I have much of a choice. Okay. Although here I can actually take, then give the check. If I give this check, he has f3. I could take here. This is well defended. I'm up a pawn now. So like I was saying, all the way back here, I was saying I have a great position, but I can't sit on it. So I went forward a little bit, right? Jumped some of my pieces in. My opponent made what was admittedly a bad trade, but that allows me to trade in my favor and win a pawn, right? So using my pawns to grab more space, all the way back here, when I started throwing my pawns forward on the queen side, that created holes in his position because he was trying to fight back for the space. We continue to squeeze the position, maneuver my pieces in, and then tactically win a pawn. When you have a positionally strong position, right? Listen up, because this is important. When you have a positionally strong position, then you look for tactics. Because if you have more space and your pieces are more active, then tactics are probably going to flow your way. That is just how chess works, because your pieces can see more squares and your opponent may have weaker squares that you can exploit, right? By the way, I'm giving this check so I can support the move c5, but do it with a tempo. So I think that's a very important lesson. Hopefully that's really useful to some of you guys. And also what I'm trying to do in this position is restrict his queen's movement. I don't want to let it into the game if I can help it. Yeah, this is a good option from my opponent to try and use the c-file to get back into the game. Very good idea. I kind of just missed the fact that f2 was hanging, not going to lie. I didn't even notice. Okay, well, I can take it now. Yeah, I mean, it is a bit of an unfair game, sure. But, I mean, the point isn't for it to be absolutely equal. Like, the point is that it's kind of entertaining, it's fun, and, you know, because I'm higher rated, I should be able to explain my thought process as to how I'm trying to beat the lower rated players. So that those of you that are lower rated can understand, oh, this is what a higher rated player would do to beat me. Therefore, I can try and implement some of those ideas in my own games where I'm playing against players of my rating. Okay, we're up 2 pawns right now. We have a lot of space. This is just a very nice position. My knight isn't very good. That's the only bad thing about my position, I think. But, I mean, if I were to maneuver it into e5 or f4, then it would become a very good piece. Okay, good to know, Black Clover. I'm very glad that I could be of use to you guys, and maybe you even enjoy some of the commentary along the way. That would be absolutely perfect, and that's all I'm here for. That's all I'm here to do. This is a tempting move. I think that's actually a really good move, because I'm obviously giving him his pawn, but there's a lot of venom behind Queen b8. I'm not going to say what it is, but maybe you guys can spot what my idea is. Maybe you guys can spot what I'm trying to do. Well, there's actually a couple of ideas to this move. There's a couple of ideas. Hopefully you can see what they are. Try and think what white might be trying to do, and some of the weaknesses in the white position that I'm maybe trying to exploit. Very strong move from my opponent. Very good move. Well done. Well done to him. So if the rook took, then I was going to go to b4 with check and win the rook. And I was also trying to look at the f4 square to give a check, force the king to the back rank, and then check, well, it would have been on g2, to win the queen. Very good for my opponent. He doesn't fall for this. He also stops me from going to f4. So I have to just settle with winning the pawn on h2. But I mean, that's still very good. Again, this still runs into this. And I do have to be a little bit careful about his queen getting back into the game. But currently, I'm covering a lot of the squares the queen might try to use to infiltrate, right? Which is an important thing, of course. Because queens are powerful, obviously. Gonna give a check. I was expecting this move because it's one of the only active squares the queen can go to. Doesn't mean it's a bad. It doesn't mean it's a bad move at all. It was just something that I was expecting him to do. I didn't see b4. Yeah, see, this is like I was saying, when you're positionally strong, tactics tend to flow in your favor, because the only reason that this works is because my pawn covers c3, so he doesn't have a rook c3 to block the check and defend the rook. That only works because I have a lot of space, right? I think queen h6 is a strong move here. Again, I'd encourage you to try and realize why. There's an obvious point of queen to h6, but there's also a more subtle point. Well, there's a couple of subtle points. So I'd encourage you to try and figure out what those are. If you have an idea of what I might be thinking, then just, let me know in the chat and I'll tell you if you're on the right lines. Michael Swigert. Bro, listen to my man. All of you in the comments, listen to my man. Yeah, rook h1 is definitely one of the big ideas of this move. But why wouldn't I go to h4? Right? Why did I choose h6 and not h4? Do any of you guys know why? Because you would think h4 is the better move because I'm just higher up the board, right? But I think h6 is far superior. Why? d2? Yes, absolutely. d2 is one of the big points because on h4, this diagonal isn't that useful. Whereas this diagonal, very useful. Not only do I control d2, by the way, good job to Yo. Because if I'd have gone to h4, bishop f3 would cover h1. But if I go to h6, bishop f3, I have mate on d2. I also cover the c1 square, which means that after I give this check, d2 and h1 are covered, which means where is my opponent's king going to go? Because again, when I have more space and I'm positionally strong, tactics tend to flow in my favor because I'm covering the c2 square, which is the escape square for my opponent. I know I'm repeating some of the same points, but this is what it takes. And Michel Dauder, when you're asking how to improve your positional game, I did explain it pretty in depth just 5 minutes ago. But this is one of the points of making use of being positionally strong, because tactics flow in your favor, right? But you still have to spot them, of course. Okay, I think it's actually just better for me to drop back. Yeah, I think it might just be good to drop back here, Just make sure e6 is defended. I don't really care about the c5 pawn. That's really irrelevant. I see a lot of you in the chat right now. It is good to have you here. Remember, if you haven't already, drop a like and subscribe, please. I would really appreciate it. And if you have any questions whatsoever, then just ask away in the chat. Am I single? Not really the questions I was expecting, but I am not. No, I'm not single. Okay, obviously the rook is hanging, but queen to e3 is actually the move. And yeah, Mr. Bombastic said it before I even mentioned. I couldn't do it immediately because I didn't want to hang a rook. But yeah, here I can just set up a checkmate. And there we go. Again, the positional strengths of the position, controlling the e3 square of a pawn. Very useful. We have a challenge from Fishvalen. Fishvalen, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. But yeah, 3-2, Blitz. He's rated 1777, so a very good player. Let's see what we can do. Bronislaw Lewandowski says, hello from Poland. Good to see you, my man. Thank you for the hype in the comments, boys. I appreciate it. This is an odd opening. I don't know if this is actually a thing or not. X-Man, you play shorter games than other streamers, but still take time to explain some things. Yeah, again, like I said, if there's anything that you guys want me to go a little bit more in depth on, more than happy to. More than happy to. I think b4 is a good move here. Defended by the knight, just to try and squeeze this bishop. Just to try and squeeze the bishop. I mean, I probably could have just gone something like knight f3 or bishop to c4, but I feel like chasing the bishop is probably a good idea. It can't be bad. Can't be bad. Middle game. Bro, you can't just say middle game. You have to add words around that. You can't just say a noun. That's not how sentences are structured. I think that might be a bit of a blunder from my opponent. Because this may look very elementary. Yeah, thank you, Edwin. Yeah, so endgame, of course. Yeah. No worries, bro. To be fair, you might have been saying that in response to something that I had previously said, but I guess there's a little bit of delay, so I don't actually know. But I assume you're asking for tips on how to go about the middle game. I assume that's what you're asking. So yeah, just confirm that, and then I can give my 2 cents on it. Very funny. Make sure to chess during it. Well, you know, I wasn't actually gonna do that. I just wasn't gonna play chess. But thank you for clarifying, Michael. Okay, well, we have opening, middle game, and end game. So maybe I should just explain the entire game of chess in depth all at once. Do I have a FIDE rating? I do, but my FIDE rating isn't really representative because that last got updated years and years ago. I play English Chess Federation, which is ECF, as my main way of playing chess. Okay, sorry, I will get around to your question in a second. I'm considering going d4 to threaten the knight and then threaten mate. That looks good. But queen e5 is also just a free pawn. Let's just take the free pawn. I am Ranjishum, you played last. How is the game? I am learning chess from a month before month. I don't even know what castling is. Sigma face. I don't even know what that really means. I couldn't tell you, mate. b5 looks like a cool move. Why is b5 a cool move? Let me know in the chat. Why not e5? Do you mean taking on e5? Because I just did that. Yeah, let's give it a check. And the point is, the black either has to block with c5, or he's got to get back ranked. Sorry. Now d4 sounds good. Yeah, d4, I mean, it was definitely a move, but I like this idea personally. I quite like this. Okay, now let's take. Yeah, there is a stream delay, definitely. Sorry, Mr. Bombastic was asking before about the middle game in a very roundabout way. So I will answer your question. And I'm going to just say that you're trying to say how to, actually take advantage or like just how to play a middle game in general. So GG to my opponent, Fishvalen. Very strange opening. I think it is actually a thing, but very strange. Keep the challenges coming in. I'm just gonna talk about this quickly. So in the middle game, I mean, it's probably the hardest area of chess, right? Because you can study openings, memorize certain structures, etc. With the middle game, it's a lot more difficult because the further into a chess game you go, the more it can branch out and the more difficult it becomes to like get positions that you're familiar with, right? I think you have to look at middle games in so many different ways. From a positional standpoint, in terms of how much space you have, how much maneuverability you have to look at it in terms of activity in general, like, oh, which pieces of mine are actually contributing to this? Which could I potentially improve to therefore improve my position? You've got to look at king safety. Like, does my opponent have a weak king? Can I try and put more pressure on him and take advantage of that? You have to look at pawn structure. Like, there may be pawn structures that you're familiar with and therefore can use ideas from in like lots of different games. That's something that I use a lot with like a c3, d4, e5 pawn structure. Or because I play the Caro a lot, playlists on my channel by the way, like a b7, c6, d5 pawn structure, which I'm very familiar with. There's so many different things to consider in the middle game. So it's really difficult to give advice on it. But yeah, I think those things are definitely important to consider. I think you would have to ask me more specific questions for me to be able to give better answers, because I could write a whole video essay on how to maneuver the middle game, you know? But I hope that was somewhat useful. The 4b5, I thought d4 sounds good, because you take the knight, and if pawn takes bishop, the rook is hanging. d5 after b4. Wait, sorry. 4b5, I thought d4. Yeah, d4 was definitely a good move here. It might have been better than the move I played, which it actually was, by like 1 point. Because yeah, you are threatening the knight, and if he takes, then you win the rook. What else did you say? Yeah, I did consider that, and maybe that was slightly better, but I mean, still worked. While you made your game flow natural in your favor, and you made it seem easy to attack him. I mean, the thing is with this game, right, is it was a bit of a strange opening, right? So I tried to do my best to take advantage of it. But once Queen b6 happened, I realized there was a problem with these two pawns. So it's just a simple double attack. And after knight to h6, I did consider going d4, but the computer seems to prefer queen to e5 because it's just nice and simple. And then I just noticed that if I could get, basically in this position, if I could play 2 moves in a row, I would play b5 and bishop a3, and after the king moves, checkmate. So I just tried to do that, and there wasn't a whole lot Black could do about it. He tried his best to defend himself, but yeah. GG's to Fishlan, that was a good game. When you hit 2200, will you watch Skibbity Toilet on stream? No, I will not. When not to castle? I think that's actually a really simple question, and if you don't need to castle, then don't. Like, I think it's pretty simple, to be honest. How to keep the tension up. Continue making threats. Continue making threats that improve your position, is what I would say. I think I'm really enjoying the stream, but I'm going to have to end it here because I have a lot of work to be getting on with. I would encourage you guys to check out I have so many videos on my channel. There's loads of playlists, so please check them out on my channel if you're interested. But if not, I will definitely stream again at another time. Thank you to everyone who played today and got involved in the chat. I will probably upload this as a normal video if I can figure out how to. Yeah, quickly before we go, I'm just going to answer Michael's question. Have you played against any famous chess names? I played against Chessbra on stream. I got a completely drawn position and I lost it because of low time. When will you stream again? I do not know. Just when I'm not busy, basically. I know that was really useful. But if you just subscribe to the channel, then when I do stream, it should show up like at the top of your feed. So yeah, thank you to everyone. Check out the other videos on my channel. I'm sure some of them will be of use to you. There is a whole lot of them. And I'll see you guys in the next stream or in the next video.